Good evening and welcome to the August 19th meeting of Richmond Common Council. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer by Councilor Bumbalow.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for this day, and thank you for each and every person here. I pray, dear God, for your wisdom to fill our hearts, and I pray, dear God, that you'll use us as instruments of your peace in our community and in our nation, within our families and friends. We love you, Lord, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Doug Goss.
Here.
Lucinda Wright. Bill Engel.
Here.
Larry Parker.
Here.
Ann Taylor.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Jane Bumbalow.
Here.
Justin Burkhart.
Here.
Jerry Purcell.
Here.
8 are present.
Thank you. Dr. Wright has an excused absence tonight. You received minutes from our August 5th meeting. Any corrections or concerns therein?
No corrections. I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our August 5th minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have a person who wants to speak to us, Mrs. Johnson, Brenda Johnson, concerning fireworks.
Hi, council members. I am Brenda Johnson.
Hi there.
Appreciate you allowing me here tonight.
Give us your address. It's a formality we follow.
712 South 10th.
Thank you.
I am to speak a few minutes about fireworks. I'm aware that that's an issue where there's some pretty strong lines drawn. Normally, when the government tries to get too much into the people's business, I'm the first one to stand up and complain. However, I think when the people lose their minds and start acting irresponsible, then somebody has to step in, and I'm hoping that's where you guys will come in. First, I know we have an ordinance, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. First, I'd like to kind of review the pros and cons of fireworks, starting with the cons. They absolutely damage our environment. We shoot those up in plastics and oxidizers and heavy metals, copper, aluminum, lead, various toxins. All these particles come raining down into our soil, our water, absolutely the air. If you think about the day after a big fireworks display, you walk outside and everything's a haze and it stinks of gunpowder. People who experience lung issues or heart issues, even a short exposure to all this stuff is harmful to those. You've got the trash. At my house, I can count just about every year. I can take a Walmart bag out and pick up that thing almost full, off the roof of the garage, out of the yard, off the top of my car, everywhere, trash. All told, there's millions of dollars of property damage caused from fireworks, fires, and explosions. People who have high anxiety, who are on the spectrum perhaps, they can experience a sensory overload. This produces panic, intense fear. Think about our war veterans or victims of gun violence. What that's doing is causing them to, they're triggering post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, causing them to revisit the most horrific moments of their life. People, kids and adults, they're getting physically harmed, serious burns, digits blown off, eyes put out, death, even the cute little benign sparklers. Those things burn between 1,800 and 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Fireworks absolutely terrorize animals, wild and domestic. Number 8, they're a plain dang annoyance. It's an unnecessary source of aggravation and worry. So, 8 cons. My first pro. Some folks really enjoy fireworks. I couldn't think of another pro. So I've got 8 to 1. The ordinance we have doesn't seem to be enforced. The last time I heard fireworks was this past Saturday. That's the 17th, like a month and a half after the 4th of July. perhaps it's a bit too specific. It's lined out hours, days, times. I don't know how many people actually read that, how many people actually care. My resolution to that is to ban fireworks, period. I'm not saying not to have celebrations. I'm not saying don't have fun. You can have all kinds of parades and festivals and doings out at the park. We've got 3 colleges in this town. Surely at least one of them would be interested in developing some type of electronic display we can use in the park. I contend that allowing activities that cause absolute damage to our environment, our homes and properties, animals, people, is just simply not acceptable. It's wrong. It's wrong, people. I think I've kept to my 5 minutes, so any
I
questions?
want to commend you. Not only did you keep to your 5 minutes, it was a very good presentation. And thank you for that. And I'm wondering, would public safety think that that might be something that they'd add to an agenda at some point in the future for a little further discussion?
Yep.
Yes.
I think that that sounds like a good idea.
All right,
I do have a question for Ms. Johnson.
all right.
So are you saying ban even the city-sponsored fireworks annually?
I would like to see that happen because certainly they still impact everything that I've listed. If I have to compromise, then keep the city-sponsored ones put on by professionals, but absolutely do away with all this private nonsense and make sure it's truly done away with. I think the electronic thing, everything's going to the computers. Let them do the fireworks.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Goss?
our neighborhood really does like its fireworks
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Mine does too.
all year long.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution number 8, 2024. Mr. Goss.
Resolution 8, 2024. Eastern Indiana Flex is a property owner of 305 Industrial Parkway. Transcendia leases that property. Transcendia has been working with the EDC for a while regarding the expansion. Due to some misunderstanding of the tax abatement process, the applicants at the corporate level, there was a delay in the landlord applying for the abatement. So that's what this ordinance is about. Some work at 305 has been completed, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. The Tax Abatement Committee recommends approval of this resolution without any penalty.
Any questions for Doug? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of council?
Mr. President, because of the nature of this resolution, a public hearing does need to be held tonight.
does?
It does.
Sorry? We don't usually do that. I guess on these we do.
On these, we do.
This might be my first. All right, then I will open the floor for public comment. Those wishing to speak for the ordinance, resolution, please come forward. Those wishing to speak against it, please come forward.
David Carpenter, 400 Richmond Avenue. I am against the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or the resolution, I should say.
Yes.
Mr. President, any particular reason, Mr. Carpenter?
I just personally think, I wonder what doors it might open in the future. And I think it goes along with the responsibility that people should do what they're supposed to do in a timely manner. And by allowing this, it might open doors to other things. That is why.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the hearing is closed. What's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve Resolution 8, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 8, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 9, A resolution authorizing the investment of public funds into certificates of deposit pursuant to Indiana Code 5-13-9-5.
Good evening, Council. Council President Tracy McGinnis, City Controller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Resolution 9, 2024 is an annual housekeeping resolution related to the city's investment program. This resolution allows banks outside the political subdivision to submit quotes on public fund certificates of deposits and authorizes the city controller to invest in certificates of deposit pursuant to Indiana Code 5-13-9-5. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
This doesn't have to go on hearing, right? Good. What's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve Resolution Number 9, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 9, 2024, and I'm sorry, I should have asked for finance reports, but but I am asking for it.
Okay,
Referred.
well,
I'm sorry.
I wasn't. So we discussed this at the Finance Committee, and we felt like it was a very positive thing because we can look outside, but also, be able to entertain bids from our local community as well. So not that it matters now, but we gave a positive recommendation.
Still good to hear. So we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 9, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have no communications from the mayor. Mayor Oler is off on personal business tonight. You have minutes from the Board of Works from July 25th, August 1st, and an executive session on August 1st as well. Any questions about those?
Mr. President,
Mr. Parker?
Georgia McCulloch, I believe, sent a letter to the Board of Works regarding a question as well as to the city engineer, and I just wondering, did she get a response from the Board of Works?
Who knows?
Hey, Council. I'm on the city's Board of Works. She had a question about a 5-lot subdivision on the corner of Warnley Road and South 23rd Street. That doesn't really fall under the purview of the Board of Works. I think that she had a question about drainage, and I think she had a question about whether the owners of the lots would be able to put more than one house on the individual lots. So I was able to talk to her and let her know that that would not be the case. Other than that, I'm not sure which questions she.
You're not sure whether she got her answer or not?
I spoke with her for about 15 minutes, and
Okay, so
I
she
thought-
does have an answer?
Hopefully, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Moving on. Yeah, Dustin, you should have stayed up here.
Dustin Purvis, Planning Director. Mayor asked me to speak to this evening because I am the city's primary staff liaison to the Historic Preservation Commission, and the HPC currently has 2 vacancies. So the mayor has nominated Kamea Edwards and Megan Ripperger to join the commission. Kamea and Megan have both been regular attendees at the preservation workshops that the HPC has been putting on this year. So they come highly recommended from some of the current members of the commission. And the mayor and I met with them a few weeks ago. I think we both came away from that meeting impressed with their knowledge and just their enthusiasm for the history of Richmond and the work that goes into preserving that history. They both live in historic homes within the city that they're in the process of renovating. In fact, Kamea and her husband Damon recently purchased a second historic home in the Star neighborhood that they're hoping to restore soon. And then just another thing that I think is worth noting about this is that by filling these 2 positions, the HBC will be at their full 7-member capacity for the first time in about 8 years, which is exciting. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to try to address those.
Any questions? At our last meeting, you were all invited to offer other names if you had any. Apparently not. What's the pleasure of council?
Motion to approve
Second.
Camilla.
We have a motion and a second to approve the nomination of Camilla Edwards and Megan Ripberger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Miscellaneous business.
Contract number 158, 2024, designation of Wayne County as recipient of 1/2 a fractional amount of certified distribution of economic development income tax funds.
I know Valerie is here to present to us about this, but she also asked if she could update us on what's going on with EDC, and I said, of course.
Good evening. Thanks for having me back. Contract number 158, this is our unit contribution agreement. So just a few months ago, the EDC renewed our 4-year contract with the Wayne County government to be the lead economic development agency for Wayne County for the years 2025 through 2028. We run on 4-year cycles. So the next phase of this is to go out to all 7 participating units of government to seek your support in renewing your 4-year unit contribution agreement. That agreement, which is contract number 158, that pledges 1/2 of your economic development income tax revenue to countywide economic development, where we pool those resources from all participating units of government to work collaboratively on economic development efforts throughout Wayne County. In 2024, the City of Richmond is set to contribute roughly $1,035,000 to the Consolidated Edit Fund for those pooled economic development resources, which means you're keeping roughly $1,035,000 to utilize at your discretion. Collectively, at the end of the year, from all the participating units of government, we project $1,843,000 will be contributed to the Consolidated Edit Fund. And I'll just share that we've been fortunate to have Richmond's support since the inception of the EDC and the enactment of the edit tax back in 1993, and we're hoping that you'll continue that support for the next 4 years. And so if it's okay with you, I'll go ahead and just give an EDC update. That way you know where your contributions are going to and how we're utilizing those funds. So the EDC is most known for business development. And over the last 3.5 years of the current 4-year contract that you're in, we've been really fortunate to have great success with new business investment. So over those 3.5 years, 16 businesses have worked directly with the EDC that resulted in $534 million in new investment, and that's in both real estate and machinery and equipment. That has also led to the creation of, or the pledge of the creation of 445 new jobs and the retention of 366 existing jobs. Those were jobs that could have left without the interference of the EDC stepping in and helping to assist those companies. Right now, we have 9 different companies locally that we're working on business expansion projects, and we have responded to 89 leads over the last 3.5 years from companies that reach out to us directly and from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation that allow us an opportunity to find the right real estate opportunity for that business, complete requests for information, and even host site visits when they want to come to the community and see if it's the right place for them. Another way that we're able to assist the City of Richmond is being a conduit to real estate transactions. As a 501c3 development corporation, we allow the city to enter into either a purchase agreement or a lease agreement with the EDC, which allows this then to enter into another real estate transaction with the end user to ensure that that property is being used to the highest and best use based on a lot of due diligence that we've done with the companies that we ultimately end up entering into those real estate contractions with. One really important contract that we have with the City of Richmond is to market the undeveloped land in the Midwest Industrial Park. And so we are fortunate to have $354 million under construction today between Blue Buffalo, Liberation Labs, and Acre Ingredients. So EDC helps to facilitate those new investment projects and the sale of land. And just back in 2022, we worked really collaboratively with the city and the Wayne County government to be able to acquire 335 additional acres of ground to expand the Midwest Industrial Park. The city and the county split the cost of that land, with Wayne County government actually utilizing $2.2 million of their own funds to help acquire that ground, and then allowing the city then to annex it. So we only have one property owner, and it's easier for us to market that ground and also work on incentive packages, all under the purview of the city of Richmond. There are currently 424 acres of undeveloped land. So that acquisition of 335 acres really helped us get a lot of greenfield property under contract for us to market. But while that ground is sitting undeveloped, the EDC actually manages a farm lease on your behalf. And so right now we're going through the process of receiving farm bids from interested farmers that want to lease that ground in 2025 through 2028. Currently, the city's getting roughly $142,000 a year that goes directly back into your industrial park fund for park maintenance. We also collaborate with the utility providers, so we're working with the Richmond Sanitary District on the upgrade of the pipe from the park to the wastewater treatment plant. Through the Consolidated Edit Fund, we actually contributed $1 million towards that preliminary engineering report that's underway now to ensure that we have capacity not only now, but for years into the future. And that's all in Richmond, but we also manage another park called the Gateway Industrial Park in Cambridge City on behalf of Wayne County, and we're currently working with their water utility on the creation and construction of a new water tower to support water capacity for that park. In terms of other real estate transactions that we handle on behalf of the city, last year, once we heard from Wolverine Worldwide that they were not renewing their 10-year lease at 1400 Industries Road, we immediately went out and tried to seek out a new tenant for that building, and we were successful with Vandor Corporation leasing that property currently with an option to purchase. Vandor is actually expanding their corporate headquarters into that building, and then they have the opportunity to sublet any unutilized property in that building. So we were very fortunate to have a new user roll right into that building, and it didn't sit vacant but for a couple of months. Right now, we're in the process of two new real estate transactions for the city. One will be for the underutilized Berryfield Park to allow for the expansion of Chester Heights Apartments. We're working through the real estate purchase agreements now. There will be some rezoning that needs to occur, but that will help facilitate 72 new market rate apartment units if the sale goes through and the rezoning passes. And then lastly, 2153 Williamsburg Pike, that's the former Dana Foundry site. There's actually an end user wanting to lease that ground, so the EDC has just approved a resolution authorizing me to enter into a lease agreement with the city and a sublease to the end user to facilitate that on your behalf. So then there's talent attraction and retention that the EDC is involved in, because it's important that we are helping our employers be able to attract and retain talent that makes them successful. So there's a lot of different initiatives that we have underway when it comes to that. One is the Home and Wayne Talent Attraction and Recruitment Campaign that the EDC led and is still working on behalf of the community. Another is the Wayne County Job Finder. That is a tool on the Home and Wayne website that crawls the web for all open positions with all Wayne County companies and puts them in one place to make it easy for someone to look for a job. That website currently has over 2,900 job postings that are available.
Wow.
I've also reported to you at the last meeting about the Make My Move program and our management of that on your behalf. And then we also work with K through 12 and higher educational institutions to help place students that are graduating into local jobs. We just started a early childhood childcare worker training program because we know childcare seats are limiting people to get back to work. So if we train more workers to support these childcare facilities, that will open up more seats for working families. And then lastly, there's a Tutris childcare platform, and that helps to manage benefits for employers so that employees can easily navigate looking for childcare and even use payroll withholdings to pay for those childcare benefits that they receive. Next, we move into community development. There is a lot going on in this space. You're all familiar with the redevelopment of the Elder Beerman building. Based on the financial package that we had to put forth for that developer, we were able to utilize $2 million of the Consolidated Edit Fund to help bring that project to fruition. In addition to that, the EDC, along with Beth Fields, we were partners on helping to advocate for $2.95 million from our Ready One allocation towards that project as well. And that was really a true partnership between the EDC, the city, and Wayne County government, because we also use Consolidated Edit funds to buy that property and maintain it over the last 5 years while we were waiting for the right development opportunity. Housing development is something that the EDC is actively involved in, as you know from my presentations and advocacy on the Smith Hill project. But we're also working on a 44-unit affordable housing project in conjunction with Smith Hill, Chester Heights expansion. There's a lot of interest in housing development right now, so it's all about trying to find the right fit and the right real estate for the type of housing that developers want to build. And then the HELP program, we used $500,000 of the Consolidated Edit Fund towards projects across Wayne County, and $390,000 of that is going towards a new Wayne County Blight Elimination Program that the EDC created and is managing, where we intend to tear down 44 blighted, vacant, and abandoned homes across the county, 27 of them in the city of Richmond. And so you will see that work start to take shape in the next couple of months. Lastly, I just want to share that we're also a conduit for some of these large-scale grant programs. I mentioned the READY funds through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation that went to the Elder Beerman redevelopment project, but there's a READY 2 program now where our regions received a $35 million allocation. And so myself, along with Acacia St. John at Fort Wayne County, we are your advocates to bring forth viable projects for funding consideration. And so we're going through that scoring process right now. We've had numerous projects submit for funding consideration, and we're trying to prioritize those projects and then advocate for them amongst the total of 9 counties that are all competing for that $35 million. And then lastly, the Revitalize Richmond program. The EDC was a participant in that with Earlham College and the $25 million grant from Eli Lilly that's being used to revitalize downtown Richmond and create connectivity to the Earlham College campus. And we're working with a developer interested in numerous redevelopment properties along Main Street and being a coordinator of that effort. So that's just a little bit of what we've been up to. I just wanted you to kind of understand all the different areas in which the EDC is working as you take under consideration a new unit contribution agreement for the next 4 years.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Valerie.
Mr. President. Valerie, I have multiple questions. Number one is because I can't type real fast. The farm lease, how much did you say we're currently collecting from that?
Currently, roughly $142,000.
Okay. And also, you say we have 424 acres of undeveloped land. Does that include the latest acquisition, or is that?
That does, yes.
Okay. The other is, are there any plans in the future of a support system for local entrepreneurs for support, guidance, and assistance of development of products and how to obtain funds for said development and marketing?
So a lot of our entrepreneurship efforts are handled through the Indiana Small Business Development Center. We do contribute $15,000 a year from the Consolidated Edit funds towards the ISBDC's budget. But in addition to their work, through the Revitalize Richmond grant, there are funds to hire someone that will be tasked specifically with working with local entrepreneurs and helping them build businesses and find locations and take those to market.
Okay, should they reach out to you, or?
Currently, we'd be happy to put them in touch with the ISBDC contact for right now.
Very good, thank you. And finally, under the current comprehensive plan, is there any chance of all the current proposed apartment complexes of oversaturation or compete with the current commitments we have for apartment development?
As it stands right now, what we have in the pipeline for apartment development is not going to exceed our current demand, because I forget the breakout, so we need 450 housing units per year over the next 5 years. I believe roughly 285 of them are single-family homes, and the balance are apartments, and so that's several hundred a year. And we have roughly, let's see, probably about 320 units roughly in the pipeline.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
We will assign this contract to Finance for review before our next meeting. So we're ready for first readings. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Parker,
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance 48, 2024, and ordinance 51, 2024 by title only.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to amend the rules to read by title only 48 and 51, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Ordinance number 48, 2024, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management Community Recycling Grant Program. Their grant funds, I forgot that.
Good evening, Council.
Good
Pat.
evening.
Yeah, Pat Smoker from the Richmond Sanitary District. I've spoken to you several times over the last couple of years, mostly for grant submissions in relationship to the Sanitary District's efforts to upgrade our current recycling program and overall landfill diversion. This kind of aligns up with EPA's goals for landfill diversion in the long term. By 2035, they're aiming for 50% diversion in landfills. So this grant before you is in relationship to that. We are applying for this Indiana Department of Environmental Management's Community Recycling Grant. It has a funding range of $1,000 to $100,000. With a 25% match, we are asking for $100,000. We do have the 25% match in our budget, specifically was set aside in hopes of being funded through this grant. We applied for the same grant last year and were unfunded. We've made some efforts that we hope will make us more, competitive in this process. If there are any other questions?
Questions for Pat? Hearing none, right? I'm hearing none. We'll assign this to the Finance Committee for review.
Ordinance number 51, 2024, an appropriation ordinance amending ordinance number 33, 2023, known as the 2024 Civilian Salary Ordinance.
Good evening, council members. Sherry Hemingway, Payroll and Benefits Administrator.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Finance Department is requesting approval of Ordinance 51-2024, which is an amendment to the 2024 Civilian Salary Ordinance for the following. We are adding a new position to the Mayor's Department that replaces two vacated positions, one that was in Mayor and one that was in Code Enforcement. We are correcting the salary ranges on two Police Department Secretary jobs, not changing the pay, just the ranges that they're in, they fall within them. And adding one new position, but no change to the budget. This is all going to come from salary savings from vacant positions over the year. And then we need to correct the Fire Department administrative salaries that were not updated correctly in the salary ordinance originally. They were correct in the budget. We just had some template changes and some funky things going on, and I missed getting them in there correctly. So it's just making those right. Whoops.
Questions from council? Hearing none, this will go to Finance for review. Thank you.
Ordinance is on second reading. Ordinance number 43, 2024, an appropriation ordinance authorizing the submittal, acceptance, and appropriation of a grant from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
Mr. Goss is actually going to lead us through all of these, and he's going to combine them into one presentation.
This is the Make Your Move 43.
Oh, sorry, I went too far down the page. All right,
I was going to say that confused me.
That's going to do that, isn't she?
I think so. I don't know that there's anything to do, actually, other than to put it on public hearing.
I think
Yeah.
Finance Committee met on that, didn't we?
Right.
We did.
You did?
Yeah, we
And?
did. We recommend approval.
So it's on public hearing. All those wishing to speak for this, please come forward. Those wishing to speak against this, please come forward.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross 43, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Off the question.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Doug Goss.
Aye.
Bill Engel.
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumbelow.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
And Gary Turner.
Aye.
All are in favor. Excuse me. Ordinance number 44, 2024, a special ordinance authorizing the approval of a statement of benefits for a property owner applying for deductions under Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1.
Now I'm turning the floor over to Mr. Goss.
I'm going to speak to all three ordinances that are related. Ordinance 44, 2024, and 45, 2024 are for Transcendia for both personal property and real property tax abatement for their location at 300 Industrial Parkway. They are purchasing a very large machine for about 10.5 million, and doing about 3 million in updating that building. The Tax Abatement Committee went over the scoring for Transcendia and calculated the calculated score for this location would give them a personal property tax abatement of 4 years with descending abatement schedule. It would also give them a real property tax abatement of 8 years with a descending abatement schedule based on total investment at this location. Ordinance 46, 2024 is for Eastern Indiana Flex for the real property improvements. To fit this large machine at 300 Industrial Parkway, Transcendia will be moving some existing equipment across the street at 305 Industrial Parkway, where they lease from Eastern Indiana Flex. They will be doing about 3.5 million in building upgrades at 305 location. Ordinance 46, 2024 will give the landlord a real property tax abatement since they are the owner of the building. The Tax Abatement Committee reviewed and discussed this request. I also discussed it with Beth Fields, and we discussed Indiana code regarding the landlord. The scoring on this request will give Eastern Indiana Flex a 6-year abatement following the descending schedule. This project will retain 122 jobs and create 30 new jobs for Transcendia. The Tax Abatement Committee recommends approval of these ordinances. I do want to point out that we do have a rep from Transcendia here, and I think he's willing to get up and talk about the project a little bit.
That'd be great.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm Cody Cahoon. I'm the site manager at Transcendia. I've been with the company for just shy of 6 years, right? So I've started at frontline supervisor and have worked my way up at Trans, or formerly known as Transalrap. So really exciting times for Transcendia and for Richmond. You know, as Doug alluded to, we're moving a portion of our legacy business, the 35,000 square feet, 45 employees, 4 sheet extrusion lines over to Eastern Indiana's Flex's property to make room for this new line, $10 million line from Austria. So, you know, what this line does for us is position us in some markets that we're not competitive in, or we don't have the capabilities to play in these markets. So, you know, markets that we're targeting are healthcare markets and food and beverage markets. So, we do a portion of some commodity-based films for the healthcare markets right now. But the new line will give us laminating and co-extrusion technologies that you know, take us to the next level. So, you know, like I said, very excited. You know, we're just getting started here. I just became the plant manager about 1.5 years ago. I told my wife 5 years ago I was going to be the plant manager, and here I am. And then, you know, 5 years from now, we have a pretty aggressive, you know, strategy to continue growing in Richmond. You know, and you know, via enclosure or warehouse spacing, and make more room for more lines, more manufacturing. So, yeah, with that, I won't take anybody else's time. If you have any questions, concerns.
Questions? Thank you very much, and I'll
Thank
take
you
that
very
to be
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
voting in favor. So I'm going to open the floor for public hearing, and I'm going to start by asking for those who want to speak in favor, which you just did.
I'm in favor of this ordinance. I think it's a great opportunity for our city.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against this ordinance? Hearing's closed.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross this ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Call the question.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor,
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
And Gary Turner.
Aye. And
Eight are in,
just for the record, that was 44. We're going to do this 2 more times.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, okay, I thought you said, I thought I did it wrong.
No, you're doing well.
So the same vote, or do
You for-
you
We did
want to
vote.
have a
Yeah.
public hearing on, or anything?
We are.
We just
I mean, you got to read it, though.
Okay, I just wondered what you wanted me to do. Ordinance number 45, 2024, a special ordinance authorizing the approval of a statement of benefits for a property owner applying for deductions under Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1.
I'll allow questions from council. Hearing none, I'll open the floor for hearing. Those wishing to speak for this, please come forward.
David Carpenter, 400 Richmond Avenue. I'm in support of this ordinance as well.
Thank you. And we know your opinion, so those wishing to speak against this ordinance, please come forward.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross ordinance 45, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
And Gary Turner.
Aye.
8 are in favor. Ordinance number 46, 2024, a special ordinance authorizing the approval of a statement of benefits for a property owner applying for deductions under Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1.
Any questions from council? Hearing none, I'll open the floor for hearing. Those wishing to speak for this ordinance, please come forward.
David Carpenter, 400 Richmond Avenue. I'm in support of this ordinance, and I think that anytime our city has the opportunity to help businesses, we should move forward to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone wishing to speak against this ordinance, come forward.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross ordinance 46, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Call the question.
Madam Clerk,
Second.
please call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
Jerry Purcell.
Aye.
Gary Turner.
Aye.
8 are in favor. Ordinance 47, 2024, an appropriation ordinance amending the 2024 budget for the clerk's office. It's very important. We're tired of kicking our cabinet.
Mr. Burkhart,
Better than
is there a
kicking your
report
cat.
from?
Yeah, Finance Committee reviewed this, and we're not so sure. I guess we recommend approval.
All right, this ordinance is now on public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for this ordinance, please come forward.
David Carpenter, 400 Richmond Avenue. Well, in accordance to the Finance Committee, I support this ordinance.
Anyone wishing to speak against this ordinance, please come forward.
Move for engrossment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to engross 47, 2024. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Call the question.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Doug Goss,
Aye.
Bill Engel,
Aye.
Larry Parker.
Aye.
Ann Taylor.
Aye.
Jane Bumblew.
Aye.
Justin Burkhart.
Aye.
I know. You are a problem solver. Jerry Purcell
Aye.
and Gary Turner.
Aye.
8 are in favor, and we thank you.
You're welcome. There's no unfinished business. I'd love to hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Oh, let's go.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of stations.